Do not go into it for the love and the passion. You gonna be broke. BROKE. Hey, you guys, it's Kenise LeBlanc, and I'm back for another episode, too, of 20 somethings, being a single young lady here in Atlanta. I hope y'all are excited. We're going to have like a lot of topics. Of course, always talking about real estate. We're going to talk about some hot topics like Trump, Biden. We got to talk about Kendrick and them. We're going to talk about some of my favorite things like House of Dragons. And so, yeah, I hope you guys stick around to finish this episode. It's going to be a really cool one now that this is number 2. And look forward to the rest, right? Okay, so we keeping it Vlad TV style, right? All right, so Yamani asked me for a couple topics, y'all. And one, let's just say thank you because I'm a little bit sleepy, but I'm up today. And I have no appointments this weekend. And if you know anything about real estate, then you know that our weekends are like our 9 to 5 during the week for most people. I am a little bit, I'm not gonna say different, but I'm probably in like top 20% of realtors who do take it so seriously during the week too, though, that I honestly work like 9 to 5 during the week, and then also on the weekends now, like especially Saturdays, I do showings, I do listing appointments, I do basically things out in the field, and then during the week I'm in the office, so, or some kind of office setting, or even just a coffee shop, but basically I'm in front of a computer. So today I actually have off a little bit. I got a few things to touch up on, but tomorrow I have an open house because I got a new listing. But yeah, it's a good day. He got me up early and I'm awake. I drank some pre-workout so I could wake up, and I'm excited to be here. So let's get started with, I think we should start off with just some hot topics, and then we'll get into our real estate stuff. So all right, so first on the list, I think would be good. Let's just talk about it, the elephant in the room, because it's coming up, and I feel like I'm kind of this might sound weird, but I've been like ignoring the fact that we have an election coming up because who really wants to like think about what our choice is going to be coming this fall, November, when like I don't want either one at this point. I'm so sorry, Joe. I do like you, Joe. I like Joe as a person. I do think his policies and where he wants to have the U.S. is better, but let's just be for real, y'all. Like, I saw a TikTok and it put in so much perspective to me. Him and Trump are both like older than like 95% of the United States. And I don't think it's anything wrong to have an older president, but I think when it comes to the progressiveness and like the ideas that America is trying to align itself and what we need in order to like have more bipartisan agreements, we need a younger president. I really wish he would, be unprecedented. And I think this is like something for the Democratic Party. I wish that they would be more unprecedented and do things how the Republicans are doing it. The Republicans be going like hard in the paint about just doing stuff that's unprecedented, like having a candidate who's basically got a felony criminal record. Like, they're willing to like push the envelope. The Democratic Party do not want to push the envelope, and I think that's why a lot of people are getting frustrated, and a lot of people don't want to see Biden back in office because we're not pushing the envelope. We're just trying to play it safe, and we don't need safe right now. We need someone who's going to evoke change and have like kind of like oomph to him. And Joe ain't got it. I knew he ain't have it when he fell off that bike.
Hey, Joe! All right. Oh, hey now!
When he fell off that bike like a couple years ago, I was like, oh, Lord. But No, we're not even finna get on Kamala because I don't want to tear down another black woman. But honestly, I never felt like Kamala had the je ne sais quoi of what it would take to be like. She'll never be a Michelle Obama. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'd rather Michelle get up there, and I don't even know her background in terms of politics. So yeah, I am like hiding away from the idea of like who I'm going to vote for. And I even like, unfortunately, like pondered the idea of like not voting, which sounds horrible because when I tell y'all every year since I've been of age to vote, I have been like a big advocate about like go out and vote, go out and vote, go out and vote. But right now I'm just like I almost just like want fate to handle it and just see what happens because I'm just disappointed in both. And you can't sit here and tell me like Trump policies are that much better. I really want people to stop acting like they are going to get so much better of a financial economy with Trump when I personally feel like, yes, Biden is not amazing with economic policy, but he also didn't inherit a great one either. And he had to, and when you inherit a bad one, you usually do need 2 terms to get it right. Hence Obama, you know what I mean? He kind of picked it back up and got us back in a little bit of a swing. But when you think about like Trump, like he didn't do anything good. He gave y'all a stimulus package and half of it was to scammers. Like, let's be for real. You know what I'm saying? He did not, shortly right after he left, boom, here go all this inflation. Like, stop acting like he was really having real, like, policy, especially when it comes to the economy. He had a lot of immigration policy. He had a lot of foreign policy that nobody agrees with. So to just focus on the economic policy and not really take in consideration when they enact it and in the years that follow, how did it actually play out? Like, I don't know if people are like conceptualizing that, and that just frustrates me. So we're gonna wrap up that one with saying that there's no easy like answer to who you should choose, in my opinion. But I do think it would be easier if the Democratic Party, and hopefully they're watching, would step aside. Well, Joe steps aside because he has to make that determination. I do watch enough politics to know that he's the only one who can make that determination, of course with advisors all pushing him, but like he's the only one who can like formally make that like determination to step aside and allow another candidate to be in his place. And there are other viable candidates that are out there that I saw. I personally, even as a woman, I don't think we need to push the envelope so much to have like another woman or like I said Kamala, but there are other candidates that are viable that would make more of a standpoint than Joe and really give Trump what he needs and deserves, which is like, oh, you a bully? Let me show you what happens to bullies type of vibe. Then we'll have a real fight, and then I think we'll actually have real conversations. Cause again, y'all, when they started arguing about who golf better. And then Trump was like, at some point Joe said something, he starts to like ramble on, and like my mom takes care of elderly people, so I do see a lot of old people and hear them talk, and he has like all the symptoms of someone who like rolling into dementia within the next 5 to 10 years, and like
on the total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more Border Patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either. Look,
when Trump said he don't even know what he said, I died. I don't want to like ruin my makeup, but like I was like, Jesus, this is hilarious. This is a real SHIT show, and yeah. So that's my standpoint. Thank you for putting that one on the topics because I probably wouldn't have talked about it because I'm just nervous, y'all. I'm nervous. So, all right, let's roll into the next topic. So, House of Dragons. I just want to get there first because, like, why not? I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I'm Team Black or House Black. Yeah, like, why would I ever think about, is it the Greens, right? Never. They're a horrible group. I really wish somebody would burn them down immediately. I think I like Cersei Lannister better than them. I do. I think I might have to go back and rewatch the season before I like make that official. But I think I like Cersei Lannister before I like Alicent Hightower, because Alicent is the epitome of. And I don't know if everybody's like peeping this, but she is like the epitome of a Karen who is like oblivious to her actions, or at least makes herself feel like she's oblivious to her actions, even though it's detrimental to everyone around her. You know what I mean? And I hate that. Like, it's one thing to like, be a Trump where you just do something and you whatever. But she like throws a stone and hides her hand. I hate that about her. And like, and then she's, the actress is gorgeous. And then they always have her with her hair down and looking like really beautiful. Like, so it's almost like they're pandering to the fact that she's like a really beautiful woman, but they also want to make her like, or they paint her in the light that she is, which is like just deep down very ugly inside. I can't stand her. The fact that Rhaenyra told her like, girl, that was a made up story, like not even made up, but like a story that was said, and you over here thinking it's your childish son, and you still won't back down, and you don't have enough like humility. That's, I don't know if y'all watch House of Dragons for real, like, and really take on the life lessons, but the life lessons that you get from watching all of these shows, and that's why I'm really big into like sci-fi shows, historical shows, like things like this, because it's make believe, you know what I mean, in the sense, of course, there's no evidence of dragons and all that good stuff, but I like shows like this because you end up looking more at the characters and you really see how, like, no, this is exactly how people act in everyday scenarios. Like, her pride is so high because she's had to uphold this honor and, following through with code all of her life, that it forces her to do things that are unbecoming or just horrific, whatever, whatever. And so rather than actually doing the right thing, so it's just like, while Rhaenyra is a little bit more, she's done a few bad things, but she kind of just is real and raw about it or whatever. And although, sure, she might have hurt Kristen Cole back in the day, but it was like no foul play, really. She's never like really harmed anyone in terms of like death. Like, Allison, we can't say the same. So it's just like, yeah, I don't know, y'all. That's how I feel. I love watching the show though, because it's just a good take on like people's relationships and how people just literally will stick to their guns and never apologize or take accountability because that's how bad they want to be right. And that is actually really deadly. Like, and I realized that, of course, I got to relate this back to real estate. Wow, I'm a realtor, of course. So when I'm doing real estate nowadays, and then now being in my fifth year, year one, year two, year three, y'all, I was feisty. I was arguing with people. Even like I had to leave in a few little hiccups in my fourth year. But now I'm like, okay. I just like give like, because I'm not gonna argue with you. I'm not gonna argue with you. That's not gonna get us anywhere, because now we're just having a piss match. So I find that I get much better results for myself, because that's the only thing I can control, when I calm down. When I allow them to just make their point, and then I just, kind of handle it based off of that. I think I told myself the only thing that I can control is my reaction. So same thing with Rhaenyra. I hope, and I think that's how she handles things. Is the only thing she can control, with her advisors and her table, is her reaction to whatever the High Towers do. Unfortunately, I think it might be her demise. Spoiler alert, but I do think that. So that's my House of Dragons take, y'all. Like, and I was just telling Yamani that every Sunday I have like a watch party with a friend, and if you don't watch party House of Dragons with somebody, please do, because y'all are like, we didn't say anything because I hate people who talk during movies and shows, but like every like scene from episode 4, we were like. Just looking at each other, and it was hilarious. Like, I had such a good time. So, get you some good food, get there 30 minutes before it airs, and like, find a good spot on the couch, put on the mood lights, and like really vibe out, because that's a good hour and like 10 minutes if you stay for all the like the explanation at the end, which we do. I'm so deep into House of Dragons and Game of Thrones that I stay to get the history as if it's real history and nothing is real. So I recommend that because, yeah, if you're talking about like soft life and really enjoying yourself, that's one of my favorite things every Sunday now. So TMI, you guys, here's a little bit about Kinesia. I have like TV anxiety. So I'm the type of person, if it gets too crunk, like, which is why I'm glad I'm watching it with somebody, I will turn it off. I will turn it off. I will walk away, and I'll just have a, because like I get so invested, and it's funny because like I said, I only watch like sci-fi stuff, so it's like, girl, you're getting invested in something that's not even real, but I get so invested. So I only watch snippets of the very last episodes. Like at this point, I need to go back and watch it because I think the only thing I really remember was like when they were on the boat and he killed what was her name, Daenerys. That's like the only scene I remember, and then I think because I like fast forwarded, I think to that just to know that okay, he did kill her, and then I don't think I kept watching after that, so I don't even really know like where Westeros ended and what happened to the whole like land or whatever. I don't know what happened, and like I don't know really what happened with John and who became. I think he stayed at the Night Watch, right? If that's how it ended, because you're telling me, and I kind of faintly remember, yeah, I feel like, yeah, that's why I don't watch a lot. Like Power, again, that's actually one that's like real life TV. Didn't finish it. I have like TV like anxiety to the point that like once it starts to get to those last few like seasons and episodes, and I start seeing all the like, even if I don't like the main characters, I stop it. So Game of Thrones was one of them that I was like, I don't want to watch a lot. I mean, it was 8 seasons or something. Y'all can't kill my favorite character after 8 seasons. Like, no, absolutely not. So I won't watch it. So House of Dragons, I think I might because I kind of already know. And I know that they're going to do like a couple more spinoffs, but I'm not going to lie, y'all. We going to be like, I'm going to at least be about 40 years old by the time they finish all these spinoffs. Because I think they're going to do one for like the White Walkers and how they started. It takes them 2 years just to do one season, and they're hour-long episodes. They could at least make them an hour and a half too. Like, so yeah, when I'm 40, we'll probably wrap all this up, and hopefully I'll go back and watch Game of Thrones and get the ending. I realize, you guys, I am a Drake fan. I have more memories listening to Drake. I do think Drake, though, shot himself in the foot by picking the fight with the wrong one, which he's always picked a fight with Kendrick. I don't really, whatever. But I do think, certain things were said. What I will give y'all before I do this reaction video is I saw a very good take on TikTok. And I've been, once you see one, they start sending you all these. And basically, people were saying, or like, I guess people who are coming off a little bit more unbiased towards both. Like, I think everyone agrees that Kendrick won in terms of the comeback diss, just like how when Drake won against Meek Mill, like, do we think, I mean, maybe not now, but back then I thought Meek was maybe the more street cred, like hard one, but Drake's diss was the better song, so whatever. So I do think that, but they made good points, and they were talking about, and not to get too deep, and I don't even really like talking about stuff like this, but they bring good points about the whole, like, how we kind of do Drake when it comes to him being black, and it's a thing that I think social media just is like, or black social media is just, I don't know what's wrong with black social media. We're addicted to talking about colorism and, who's black and who's not. I don't know why, because I have never seen, I'm not on other platforms to know or like to see their feed or whatever, but I don't know why black people are so addicted to that conversation, y'all. But basically what they broke down was how we will make people prove their blackness, even though they are clear. Like, Drake is clearly black. He's mixed. You know what I'm saying? And I think all of us, especially black people, we all have mixed people in our family, y'all. Like, whether it's like, past or future, we all have mixed people in our family. So I don't know why all of a sudden when it's people who are of celebrity status, we're like, nope, you got to prove it. You were raised around all white people, so no one ever does that, like in real life. I've even met white people who grew up around, yeah, their family, they're straight white, but like, they were so black, especially in the South, they were so black that I never saw them as much of anything other than kind of like a, black, like person almost, you know what I mean? Like I didn't distinguish them just because of their, what is race, which is not even like a real thing. So anyways, basically the curator who made this video basically said like, hey, the fact that Kendrick is making it, Kendrick, Ross, and all of them were making such a big point about him. And then I guess there's a song where Drake breaks down, he's saying a lyric to his mom. And in that instance, he mentions how, when I was growing up, I was too black for the white people that I grew up around, you and everyone else. And now that I'm in this space where I am around more black people and this and that and the third, and I'm more geared towards black culture, I'm still not black enough. And I think that's a conversation that all mixed people always talk about, of mixed ethnicities. They always talk about that. And it's like black people will just not allow them to live. And I don't know why. I don't know why that is such a soft spot for us, that someone has to prove their blackness. And I get it, people pander our culture a lot. But the few things that are cool about other people's culture, we do too. So, you know what I mean? Like, we all do it as globally. Of course, just black people, we just have a cool culture, especially black Americans. It's a messy, unfortunate one, but it brought about a lot of beauty in it. You know what I mean? So I just feel like I did not like, and I think that's kind of why I shied away from the feud, was because a lot of the feud was, especially like Rick Ross painting him like that picture of him looking more like a white man than black. I was like, see, that's what I mean. Like when he was cool and y'all wanted him around, it was cool. But the second you not cool with him, let's hit him on something that's not his character. Attack his character. Attack Drake for being a crybaby who wants everybody's girlfriend, who sometimes can be a little disrespectful to women, who can also, throw a stone to hide his hand when it comes to that kind of stuff. Like, attack him on that. Why we gotta attack him on the race? That's like the easy low blow thing to do that a lot of black people are going to rally around because it's a sensitive topic. I think that's why I don't like, and I'm glad that curator made that video, because I was like, what is it about this feud that is icky to me? And I think it was that. It was the fact that we're tearing down this person based off of the fact that he's mixed race. And he can do both. He can be the Jewish guy who's rich, and he can be the black guy who's, down, got sticks around him and stuff. So I think that's really, and it's funny because all of those men all date mixed women. So it's okay. And so the curator kind of went into it. He's like, it's okay when you do it when you're dating your woman, but the man, you demasculate him when it's his turn. So let's get into this video, because that was a long-winded breakdown, but that was a good one. I thought that was a good point. Somebody's going to probably tell me, girl, shut up about it. I don't care. Like, Drake lost. And that's fine, but let's watch it.
What's the password?
All right. It took me so long to watch it because I don't know. I usually do watch a lot of videos. I think, I was just hiding from watching Drake get crushed because I don't care who that man was just talking about. That was a good video. He could have been talking about anybody. Like, it's so funny to me because he really could have been talking about absolutely anybody. Like, he could have been talking about somebody we did not know. He could have made this song at any given time, and this would have been a hit. It would have been a hit. Like, I'm not gonna say I love, but I'm very fond for a Southern girl. I'm very fond to Cali music. So like the beat go crazy. So I mean, I don't like DJ Mustard at all. at all, okay? Because of how he did his ex-wife. So yes, girl code. DJ Mustard is okay, like he's a horrible, horrible man. Okay, I think he didn't even marry it. First, he did the typical, ninja stuff. He had a beautiful girl, whatever. They took, and this is actually a lot of Cali dudes I see. They be taking forever to marry shorty. They got kids together, all that. You claiming her, whatever, or she's claiming you. You barely claim her, whatever. I'm sure you cheated on her throughout the whole process. Then finally, you give her a little funky ring. Then finally, y'all get married, only for you to go cheat, divorce, and quickly go find somebody else, get them pregnant, like all within like literally a year's time frame or something. So yeah, I don't like DJ Mustard because he gives me like, I hate to say it like this, he gives me like chunky, like it's one thing to get dissed by, a lot of different types of men. I'm sorry, but getting dissed by a fat nigga, like it's crazy. It's crazy because especially one with money, he probably just think his shit don't stink. Okay, so I don't like DJ Mustard. But he make great beats. That's why he DJ Mustard. But so yeah, that was a dope beat. The video is good. It's very LA. Yeah, like it was visually well. And I watch a lot of music videos. I don't know if that's like a thing anymore, but I like take time to like go look at music videos a lot. So I think the music video was really, really good. Because it was like art, you know what I mean? And I think that's always been Kendrick's thing. That's why the argument that he don't put out a lot of music, I'm like, some artists are really good, so they just don't put out a lot of music. But when they do, it's like thought out, you know what I mean? Where they go, what they're doing, like he thinks about it. Like the family being in the house, but it's like a older home, like it's all visually artfully done. So like I'm not gonna diss that in no respect. And that's what I'm saying. I like Kendrick. Like I listen to majority of Kendrick's albums. Like Damn was phenomenal. I think I listened to like pretty much every song on there. You know what I mean? So like he's not a bad artist. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they're the same artist. Yeah, that's yeah. It's kind of like how people like Megan Thee Stallion. I like Meg. I think she's actually phenomenal when she's freestyling. But you know who's better than her, but nobody gives her as much attention? Doja Cat. Doja Cat is an artist. Like, Doja Cat is an artist, like, I think somebody pointed out, she got hype off of Moo. Like, but if you listen to her actual raps, like even her last album, like even though they still try to push her commercially too or whatever, she raps amazing. She can be a little off the hinge in terms of like some of the stuff she into. But she is a phenomenal like artist versus Megan that I think kind of goes into the same old money, talking about my body, you know what I mean? Like same thing with Cardi B. Again, we all know Nicki is like you can't compare. You can't compare. So that's why I'm like I already knew who would win out of that. Like even when Drake was like even with Future, like I love Future, but Future is not he do good dissing women. He don't do good dissing men. Like, no, what are you gonna say? Like, he's, that's why I think him and Metro's, album don't even compare to this one song by Kendrick. Like, their disses, Rick, I don't even hear nobody playing that. I don't even know what it sounds like no more. All I remember was the artwork, you know what I mean? Other than that, like, there's no comparison, sweetie. Like, this is somebody who really thinks it out. And I think that's, I'm not going to say majority, but a lot of, that's why, I hate to do this, but like Southern rappers, we get more wrapped up in like cadence and music. And I think that's the thing with Drake is honestly, not even Drake. Canadian, if you listen to like Tory Lanez, like they're very good at giving people music that is for the masses, like in my opinion. They do good at cadence and things like that. So I think that's why they like Southern music a lot. And then, Drake being like family from Houston or whatever. So it makes sense. Like I get him saying like he go to Atlanta for like, but he's always been a feature artist. Like he was Lil Wayne's feature. He was, you know what I mean? Like he's always been a feature artist. He makes songs like more palatable to everybody. Versus Kendrick, he literally be talking about them other kinfolk, the people who look like this, and they be at his concert in full throttle. I'd be like, do y'all not know? Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Of course. How could I forget? Really? Really? And I'm talking about, I love me some Fetty Wap. Like, I'm not even thinking about like playing the songs in my head right now. Free Fetty. They are. But I'm saying like Kendrick is making art and thoughtfully making art, and it does not matter. It's so good that even they can overlook the fact that he's talking shit about them. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, they over here talking. I think I saw a podcast that said Drake, it's okay. Come, it was like white people. They're like, come on this side. He's like us. I was like, oh. Drake is somewhere like crying tears at night. I know he. You can't tell me he not. He can't tell me he not. So I mean, it was a good video. I genuinely love that video. That video was a very good. I saw clips of it and I was like, oh no, that looks like it was gonna be good. I just hadn't taken time to sit down for it. But he don't want to say, tell your homegirl get her passport ready. He'll get her through customs. Like, come on. Again, but you see how well I know that line. Like Drake makes music for the girls. Like, and honestly, if you think about all these little younger new artists, Skrilla Baby, they're all little mini putouts of Drake. All y'all are doing is singing to women. Y'all don't even like girls probably. Like, but y'all put out all this music that is pandering to Huncho. Y'all hits are singing rap that sings, that is nothing but a mimic of Drake, and y'all just got a little bit maybe more of a different melody to it or whatever, but it's all music that panders to women regardless. Look how horrible Tory Lanez shot a woman in the foot, and he makes some of the best. I'm talking about, I'm a big Tory Lanez musical fan. He makes some of the best music when it comes to relationships and women. I'm talking about, he is like, I don't know if you take time. So me and the same friend who watched House of Dragons, he likes music, whatever. So we were like watching the Tory Lanez, his last, not his last, but maybe like third to last album, Playboy. Really good album, really, really good album. He's just being his straight toxic, but like, take me back, girl, whatever, even though I'm horrible type of guy. And it's done so well, but he does it live. He's like literally like smoking in the middle of it, so I don't even know how he can carry his tune so well, but he does a phenomenal, like, I'm talking about, I loved it, like, loved it. So, yeah, I highly recommend to go check that. Like, it's like probably at least a 20-minute video of that album, but it's good. So, yeah, good job, Kendrick. I'm probably sure my reaction wasn't I'm just looking like as good as Kai Cenat's. I'm looking at his, like, of course they're going to be way more animated. It was good, though. I think I was more probably mouth dropped at the concert when I saw LeBron. Sir, you've been hanging out with Drake for this long. Like, what? But that's why I say I don't defend Drake's actions. I just said, like, some things, whatever, I'm not a, like, fan of. But, like, yeah. I do think he probably pissed off a lot of people over the past few. But it was bound to happen. When you at the top, like how long Drake has been, and man, there's only... So let's flow into our next topic. Let's talk about real estate networking events, which is like the epitome of like social experiment. It's like watching Love Island with like 100 more people in one room for one night. Like, it's like that. It's literally like watching people come in each time and like, oh, I don't know them, so I'm just gonna like sort of kind of maybe smile at them, let them walk in. And I say real estate networking event, it could be anyone because I've been to a lot that are like, entrepreneur based. And I'm just gonna say really networking events in Atlanta. Okay, you guys. First, let me just tell you how you attend one. Okay, definitely go dressed to a T. Do not go in there looking a hot mess. Ladies, hair done, nails done, everything did. Men, put your best on, take the Apple Watch off. I'm sorry. Don't hate me for that. Take it off. But dress nice. Like, if you're into your fedora hats and Chelsea boots, throw it on, dust them off, and pull up because that is going to be the first thing everyone sees, and they're going to judge you tremendously by what you have on, okay? And I say that not because I've shown up looking a hot mess, but because of how I showed up looking really, really good and how the entire room, like, gravitates towards you. So if you do want if you want to make it a easy conversation piece, just show up looking good. That's step one. Step two, take at least 2 shots or stop somewhere and drink before. To wait in the lines for the free alcohol they provide is absurd. So, yeah, you probably want to, and if they say they're going to give out anything free, it's probably, well or whatever, and it's probably, or wine. And so, yeah, you're going to want a little bit more to get chatty. Because this is the only way to have like a successful networking night. If not, you're going to be in a corner staring. I promise you guys. So dress nice, take a couple shots, or stop somewhere and get a nice little drink before you go. Don't even worry about food, you guys. The food might be good, but it's already gone by the time you get there, okay? So don't worry about food. They're probably going to have a DJ there, so that's good. So again, when you're a little tipsy, you can just kind of vibe to the music. Go in with a smile. That's like probably the biggest thing, like sincerely. If you're going to go to a networking event, do not show up like, no, you need to go in like as if someone just said a joke. Come off the elevator, which actually happens a lot to me. I will literally like be with friends and we will come off the elevator like sort of kind of loud, sort of kind of laughing. But again, people are attracted to like what they talking about. Let me go see. Like, and not even trying to like hit on you or whatever. It could be very like what's the word when you're not trying to, what is it, platonic. It could be very platonic. But you need to go into the room like just as if like life is just treating you well. People want to talk to people who are happy. You can have business cards, sure. But you do need to have like, or I think is a better strategy, social media. If you are trying to build your social media, a networking event is a great place to go because you're naturally going to get people who are going to follow. You're going to follow them. And then that's where you're able to really like later on collab with them. Handing out business cards is okay if you do the whole follow up and texting later, but even then, like, I don't respond to my friends via text. So, but if I see them on social media, I will go like their picture and like send them reels. You get what I'm saying? So, to me, I could, everybody's different, but I just genuinely think social media is a better way to connect. You're going to have more consistently being in that person's face to where they reach out to you and vice versa. So I think those are my biggest tips on walking into a room. I'm trying to make sure I'm thinking of all the things. Ladies, put your flirt on. Your flirt needs to go, and this is no homo, your flirt needs to extend to everybody. Tell the girls, oh my God, you look so good. Smile while you say it. Look in her eyes, okay? Men, too, or whatever, make sure you guys are like really trying to connect with people. People at networking events are already very shy and like nervous of the whole situation. So if you go in confident, like people won't forget you. And again, whether you gave them a business card or you gave them your social media, they're going to follow up with you and they're going to think of you. And that's how you get invited to other things and get into other social networks and all that good stuff because of that. Like, y'all don't know how many times I've went to networking events and people are like, oh my gosh, either A, I already follow you, or like follow me up later and say, hey, oh my gosh, I had a great time, let's do something. Like, they genuinely want to do it, and then I don't have to do anything else after that, like other than just show up and be a good now associate or friend or whatever you want to call it. So, but what I will tell y'all about why I stopped going to them lately is because when I do go to them, sometimes, and that's like the best case scenario that I just gave y'all. Sometimes I go and it's just like everybody, if I'm not like doing those steps that I said and I kind of go in and I'm just trying to be a little bit more chill and I'm just like, hey, how you doing? It go okay, but either A, the guys are just like they're trying to pick up a date, the women just be staring and it's like, oh my gosh, who is this? It's just, it don't be giving like networking, and then you start asking like what do you do, and then they're judging. It just is, the vibe be kind of off. And like to spend time, first of all, in Atlanta you got to spend money on the valet parking, hotel parking, all of that. Like I said, they may or may not have free alcohol, but if they do, it's probably nasty. So now you at the bar, you spending money on that. Then you sit there, like, sometimes I like when they get on the mic and introduce people. Sometimes I don't, depending on how many people in the room. But really, I want to be able to mingle and talk. So sometimes you get some people who, like, host it, and then they stay on the microphone, like the DJs at the club. Like, every 5 minutes, you over here finally talking to someone that you saw, and you're like, oh, you do the same business on this network. And all of a sudden, in the middle of the conversation, here come the host. Hey, you guys, I'm going to, can everyone stop talking for a second? Like, no, we cannot stop talking. We came here to talk, sir. Like, it turns into like classroom, like, hey, I want to stand up, and like, I didn't come to a speaking event. I came to a networking event. So that can get really annoying. So definitely pick and choose. I would try, like, if you go to one and it's a good vibe, go to that one again or whatever, and just stay consistent maybe with it for here and there. Like, you don't have to go to every single one they have, but stay consistent. I found jumping around to a whole bunch of different ones, you gonna get some bad ones in the mix. Like, especially here in Atlanta, like, you gonna get some bad ones. I will say definitely be weary of the ones where it is somebody who is a socialite throwing it, not for what you think, probably, but because when it's a really big name throwing it and a lot of people come, it's Atlanta. They gonna throw the hookahs in there. Now y'all drinking. Now all of a sudden you just bought a section at a networking event. Now all of a sudden you're standing on the like, you did no networking. You went to the club in the middle of the day after like 5:30. That's what happened. So be careful if it's a really, really big name. Like, I hate to throw myself in there, but like if I were to like really, really invest time into a networking event, it probably will turn into the club because I'm a little mixy myself. And by the time we all start drinking and I'm nervous for people to come, and let's say a lot of people come, like, yeah, it's gonna turn into like a so we gonna be in there turned up. Like I even threw what did I throw? I threw like a open house and people was in there doing the Tamia dance, y'all. Like, I did have a DJ. It was half of my fault. But they were in this people's house that I'm trying to sell, doing the Tamia dance, some other dances or whatever. Like, they were in there having a ball. I did have a little bit of alcohol, but yeah, I'm kind of a party spirit, and a lot of realtors are, honestly. So yeah, that's what happened. That's definitely what happened there. So network with caution. Be strategic. Do not spend all your money on networking events. You might, and if you go, you really need to be strategic. Follow those first few things so that way you walk out with, like, no, I met someone. Like, if you leave and you did not meet nobody, you damn near need to go back into that event and go meet somebody. Like, that is such a waste to go there and you don't get one number or they don't get yours or whatever. So, that's just my experience. Canada's Luxury is also on Threads, you guys. I'm picking it back up and I'm staying consistent. So, one of the questions that I asked, and I'm going to go ahead and I did screenshot it per my director's guidance. And I said, genuine question. If you're a newbie to real estate within the last 1 to 2 years, why do you become one under these hard economic times, knowing our business is so tied to them? So I got a couple responses here, and I kind of want to read them out loud to y'all and then kind of like maybe dissect them a little bit. Some of them I've responded to, some of them I didn't. So yeah, I want to start off with, I'm going to give like 2 or 3. So I'm going to do this one because she didn't respond to me yet. She was one of the first ones. She said, Real Ariana.s said, my thought process was I'm learning at a great time. The best time to jump in is when there's fears and challenges. I said, Ariana, I responded, I said, very true. This is what I responded because I did respond to her. So I was like, but learning does not pay the bills. LOL. Do you supplement your income? I'm not a jerk. I'm not a jerk. I am asking this as big little sister can because y'all, I know how hard real estate is, even in my 5th year of business, where, you know, I can make $30,000, $20,000 in a month, and then the next month, 2 months, I have nothing, in terms of cash flow. So I wonder, and I am concerned by seeing all these realtors. Like, I guess concerned and just really curious. Like, what are y'all jumping into? Is social media and the television and even just other realtors' experience, is it that glamorized during this time? Because let me tell you what's going on behind the scenes, which is not even just like the money aspect, but the fact that, or, in the economy, but the fact that within our industry, we have a lot of laws coming up. We have a lot of lawsuits coming up. Is no one telling y'all that? Are they not teaching that in the classrooms at this time? I would be highly upset if I got my license and then only to come to find out that that same industry is going through lawsuits. Like, that means we're very vulnerable right now to people coming for us, especially if you are a new agent. You are bound to make mistakes. That E&O insurance, that ain't going that far, okay? Clearly. That's why the whole industry is being sued. So I'm just concerned, and I'm wondering where's the thought process of getting into real estate. I'd almost, I guess, maybe get the license, but I would wait. I would wait until maybe mid 2025 to get in. Not to say that you want to get in, when things are better or, at the height, but just when things have died down and the changes have settled and you can actually see what it's, what you're getting into. If you get in right now, we don't even know what's going to happen for the people who have been working this full time. And I think the main thing that I'm trying to articulate to you guys is the fact that you're going to need to stay at your job. Stay at your job, stay at your job, stay at your job. Stay wherever you are working before you jump into this industry, because the veterans, they over here like, oh, I'm good. I got business. The rest of y'all ain't got no experience. Y'all ain't got no business. They don't care. They do not care. They might be telling you that to sign up to their brokerage, hoping you'll make 1 or 2 sales so they can take 50% of it. But they're not being transparent with you, and that's only helping their commission. So that's just helping their bottom line. If you make 2 sales in that year, doesn't matter to them. They got 50% of it because you were on their team. So they're not going to tell you, oh, this is going to be really hard. They're not. I'm telling you right now, keep your day job. Focus on marketing yourself, because even if you don't market yourself as a realtor, you can still market yourself as a business person. So when the time comes that you say, hey, I am a realtor, not only are you doing that at a time where people, aren't suing realtors, and I'm not talking about, when I say people, I'm talking about our own buyers and sellers are suing us, you guys. Like, those are our clients. Wrap your mind around that. Why? It doesn't make sense. So anyways, you need to build your brand, build your social medias, but for who you are. So when you get into real estate, the people who already know you, not necessarily like close friends, but I'm talking about people who know you through the sphere, your sphere of influence is what we call it. They're going to want to work with you because they want to support your business, because they've already known you for years, and now look, you're into real estate. That is going to be a smoother transition than I've seen so many people announcing, I just got my real estate license. So Who cares? The buyers and the sellers are suing us, and the few who are still working with us, they're committed to experienced agents. I'm getting the clients, not you. And if your broker is not telling you that, or at least helping you strategize that by saying yes, stay at your job, build your marketing up, and make it a real strategic time frame when things have cooled down. Honestly, and it's coming up. Like literally in August, we make most of our changes and stuff, but there's still ongoing lawsuits. And I'm talking about not just I mentioned buyers and sellers. We're also in suit with the United States judicial system. Like, come on, y'all. I just don't. On to the next one. This was a lovely response, love. I appreciate it. She didn't respond to, like, what are you making? You know what I mean? Because, yeah. For those of you who do have a good base and you are going through and your mentors are good, stick with them. Stick with them like white on rice. What else? Okay, so let's go on. Oh, I love this one. She said, we wanted to buy some real estate, so rather than finding a good realtor, I became one. That's actually a phenomenal idea. That's like such a good idea because your first sale is secured. You might make a couple $1,000s, and in the process, you get to buy your house, and you can use that commission towards it. So that's the strategy. Regardless of if she turns into like a marketing beast and starts to, push out all this content and all that, she's already got one sale under her belt, more than most who aren't even planning to buy a house. So you get me? So she's already got one sale underneath her belt. Strategy. That's what I mean. It don't necessarily got to be super complicated or be pushed out so far out. But I am saying you need to really strategize what you're doing. And if nobody's telling you, passion and purpose and drive is not going to feed you. And that's why we have such a high failure rate, and we're going to have an even higher failure rate over the next few years. A lot of agents are already dropping out, and you don't hear their stories because they're just quietly trying to leave. So, how about this? When you guys are interviewing brokerages, ask them how many people have left in the last 60 to 90 days. And then say how many people joined. How many of those were experienced agents? How many of those made over $5 million in sales per year? $5 million is to me like the bare, like that's around six figures. So yeah, you need to make at least $5 million to really be. I mean, most people in America now, you need to make like six figures to survive. So yeah. Last but not least, I love this one. This one was my favorite. And I just want to let y'all know the last two was my other skin folk. And I'm really concerned about these kinfolk because they're the ones who hit me with the passion and drive and my love for helping people. Yeah, all right. Nikki Sells Homes says, because the long game is worth it. And then she put in parentheses, and my partner has stable income. The long game is to build this and then let him retire/freelance. Now, Nikki with a IE, she did her big one, okay? She basically said, soft life. She said, my man, my man, my man. And I love that for her, okay? You know why? Because not only is she thinking, she probably might be a stay-at-home mom or something. And so not only is she thinking, like, how do I set up me and him for longevity? And this is where it plays so well is she's already at home. She's already she might have kids. She looks a little older. She might have kids already. She's already got a network of people. When you're older like this, you already have long-term friends who are already in the buying and selling business. When you're, I'll say, younger than 29, most of the people around you are not homeowners. Probably three out of like seven might be homeowners. which is not a lot, versus when you start to get to 40 or closer towards like the, 40 like marker, you're probably looking at least 5 to 6, maybe. Like you get more. And not maybe even, I'll say on the low end, maybe even 4 to 5, you know what I mean? But you get more out of it. So Nikki is playing the long game. I love it. She's thinking, don't matter really when I get started in this because I plan on just doing this until he retires. He's covering the bills. I now have money to fund my marketing and pushing myself. Whatever money I get, I can reinvest it into the business without worrying about having to pay my bills. She's able to, like I said, probably has kids or, he's working. So now he can go to the office and say, my wife sells real estate. So she's got a walking billboard between him and her. If they have kids together, she's going to the PTO, school practices, whatever. She's meeting with the moms and saying, yeah, if you guys need some, I'm here. Like she's already well into her life and her routine that this is just an added addition for her. And then she's going to be able to skyrocket because she was already in the right settings. Like so much of real estate, what people don't talk about is, yes, you need, and I actually saw someone say this who was leaving real estate. Threads is a really good space because some people do talk about it. But I saw a young lady say, so much of real estate is less about guidance, I guess you can say, or not guidance, but a better word would be so much of real estate is less about how much work you put into it and how much money you're putting into it and all that, and really about who you know and luck. So if you want to become lucky, if you want to become an experienced agent who has the kind of money or clientele that basically comes to you, you need to already be setting yourself up. I've put in the years already, so that's in other agents as well. They've already put in the years. But if you're getting into it in a time where there's a lot of, unfortunately, negativity around the realtors themselves, not necessarily around real estate. People love real estate. They just don't like realtors. So if you're getting in around this time frame, you really need to be strategic like Miss Nikki. I think she had the best response, and I wish her all the love and blessings. I wish everyone else too, but I do want you guys to really go back and really figure out how to strategize. Do not go into it for the love and the passion. You're going to be broke. BROKE. Okay? All right. All right, you guys. So this summer, I was very patient because it is a rough market, and I decided to try my hand at working on some down payment assistance, even the very famous one, NACA, that a lot of people are familiar with. And I just want to say, and I mean this with all love and sincerity, never again. Never again, never again, never again. I'm going to start off with just the contract lingo for here in Georgia, and I'm sure it's similar in other states because a lot of our contracts just have small verbiage change. If you do not, let's say you go into contract for a house, and you do not have the funds to close on that house, that is not a reason to cancel the contract. So if you're not necessarily NACA, I'll say, but if you are getting a grant or some kind of down payment assistance, and for whatever reason during the approval process they say no, you are stuck. You are going to lose your earnest money. You're going to lose the money you invested into the inspection, the appraisal, and you're not getting that house. And that's it. Because a reason to not have the funds, even if it was already disclosed, is not a reason to terminate the contract. Now, I will say your realtor maybe can ask to put that kind of language in there, but again, just off of the basic forms of a real estate contract, that's not a reason to terminate it. And so even if they ask for it, the sellers might say, no, kick rocks, So would your offer even get accepted? So take in consideration before you guys jump on these programs. Also, I think before I go all into depth of why I don't like it, I always wonder why you need it first. Why do you need it and you want to buy a house? A house ain't cheap. A house is going to continuously cost you. And it is a good investment now, I'm not doubting that. But what I'm trying to say is your taxes and things like that fluctuate, and your insurance fluctuates. So you're going to have maintenance things. So you're going to always be each year having different expenses for your house. So before we all jump on the idea of buying a house, and yes, there are grants out there to help you buy it, do we really have the lifestyle and honestly money management to maintain that house? That's really why I get concerned about people who need a lot of assistance with buying. I like to know that my clients are able to save and make sacrifices to, if let's say you ain't got to be rich, but even if we say, hey, you need $5,000 to get it, I don't want you to think, well, how could I go, you know, get this paid for me? I want you to think, how could I save that? Even if we don't, in the end of it, you don't even have to use the 5K. Sometimes that does happen. How can I save that, and have that already in my bank account? I think that's just so important, y'all, that we don't go into house buying thinking it's just gonna be roses. Ask your realtor, like really, and your friends or whatever. I say your realtor because they're gonna, not to say paint a more positive picture, but they're going to give it to you a little bit less biased. The homeowner might be like scarred and a little upset, so be careful who you ask on stuff like that. But ask someone who you think is going to be just kind of give you to you straight up the good and the bad. And I think you'll quickly find that, home ownership is definitely a great investment, but it's one that takes sacrifice and a certain kind of personality where you do not want to get a house and you can't make any repairs to it. You know what I mean? Because now your investment is a tangible thing. It's not like stocks and all that. It's tangible. So therefore, if a tree falls on it, you want to, be able to fix it. Yes, insurance might step in, but you want to be able to have some kind of money, or let's say not even a tree, let's say like your HVAC, your AC goes out. You want to be able to have money to get that fixed within a reasonable amount of time. Let's say, something happens. I had a client where her like cousin, whatever, like a child though, decided to flood the tub and it fell through the floor. You want to have money to fix that. You know what I'm saying? You want to have some kind of cushion in order to maintain your property, because if your investment itself starts to go down it can go down in value because of the market, but you can wait that out. You just hold on to it. You keep paying your mortgage, whatever, you wait it out. What is the issue is if you not keeping up with this house and it starts to become so decrepit that it has no more value to it. It's almost a tear down. That is no longer a good investment. Like you buy it for $300,000, y'all tear it up left and right. You have no money to make the repairs. Now it's really only worth $150. It's a tangible, it's a living thing. Like, you know what I mean? You really gotta take that in consideration. So I say all that to say, when you buy the house, really ask yourself why you need the down payment assistance. Are you a person who is good with managing and you can make these payments plus, and the things that are plus are going to be that I mentioned: increase in taxes, increase in insurance, and maintenance. So that's my little take on it before I go into the programs itself. When it comes to the actual programs, y'all, I just don't like them because they don't seem to actually care about. They don't care about the actual clients to me and the process that they're going through, like the way the realtor does. Sorry, the way the realtor does. Right? They don't care about the time frame. So unfortunately, when I was working with NACA, I found that they are leisure with how they're responding. And I won't say leisure. they are so overwhelmed with applications and people probably reaching out that they're not following up. And I had the perfect client, y'all. She's very resourceful. She takes the classes. Heck, she was sending me stuff about the program, and she was doing everything that she was supposed to do. Plus, she was in the Facebook group. She was asking the questions. She was making sure everything was NACA approved, and they literally, it's August, y'all, or about to be August. We're in July now. She hasn't heard from them since May, and she was reaching out continuously. So her lease is going to be up soon. Like, what if we were only relying on NACA? So when I see a lot of like influencers on here and people, they get on these platforms and they talk about how well NACA is, I have to wonder how many of you have actually went through the process with your clients. I don't know. I do think it does happen. I've had people come to me when I have listings and they have NACA clients. So I do think it happens. But what I'm trying to paint the picture of is definitely weigh all your options with these different programs, and you need to have the patience of a nun. You need to be very slow to anger, and you need to have a lot of time to buy that house through those programs. And you also need to be very sure, have your realtor be educated and be very sure before you go on the contract that you have everything outlined, because they are moving very, very slow. And I think that's really the biggest con to it. But in real estate, time is of the essence. That's one of the first things they teaches you in real estate school and then at your brokerages. Real estate is time is of the essence. So the biggest thing, downfall of those programs is the time. It's very frustrating, especially when you got someone who's, about to have to move through the end of their lease and they don't have a place already secured because the program itself just doesn't move that fast. And I mean, we're talking about weeks, months that they have not responded. So I just want to fair warn people that you need to really plan it out right. I would probably still use them again, but I would only use them again with someone who's like maybe a year's time frame or whatever, within a year's time frame, and we're somewhere in the top of it, and they also have means to live somewhere else. And let's say if they're in a lease, they can go move with family for a while and still be comfortable. That's probably the only way I would do it, because that's how slow they moved, and that's how much of a hindrance that could be for you. And I don't want to see people get frustrated. And then I also saw that same person start to scramble and make other bad decisions by going to other programs because they were frustrated with that program's slow ability to get it done. And honestly, I do think NACA knows that. I've been on their calls. They know they move slow. So I just think maybe it's not articulated as well when you're scrolling on Instagram and every other platform. It's not articulated how slow they move. All they're telling you is zero down, zero this. Also, I do want to point out the fact, because I've sat here, they do not look at credit. But let me tell you something. They are still looking at your finances. We got to let go of the idea, y'all, that we're going to get a house with bad credit. It's not a car. It's not like, those, car places where like bad credit, no credit. Like no. The house industry, the home buying industry still is going to, even though they're not doing a credit check, they're still looking to see, does this person have like bankruptcies, foreclosures? Does this person have a lot of missed payments? So technically, you're still going through the same, that's the whole purpose of credit, right? Credit discloses to us how well you pay your bills. So if NACA says they don't look at credit, but they still look at all those other factors, we still need to be prepared, is what I'm trying to say. We still need to be prepared as individuals when we going into that buying process, so that way it is smoother when you are working with these programs and you're not getting frustrated when they're saying, hey, you don't fit right now to this program. And you're like, wait, why? And it's because you still have all these other derogatory things on your finances. And entrepreneurs, we still working on y'all. Like, it's very hard. Those programs are not suited for entrepreneurs. It's not to say they're not suited, but they're very hard to, get through the approval process unless you are just like your business has been solid for years and you are able to just really have every detail laid out, especially when it comes to taxes and what you've noted as profit and what you've noted as losses. Like, you really got to be on point. And I don't find many people with the appetite to deal with it. So that's my take on it, y'all. I appreciate y'all sitting here with me today. This has been a good one. I appreciate my director for always pointing out some really good topics to me, having this good dialogue. And the more I keep doing this, I want to make sure that I'm doing topics that you guys enjoy. So make sure you please comment with any suggestions. DM me. I'm always available to respond. I love when I get responses and things like that about things that I've talked about. I do go live on my Instagram quite a bit about these similar topics. So if you want to drop some suggestions there or join in when I'm actually live, make sure you do it on Cando's Luxury. That's my name on all platforms. So yeah, you guys, thank you again for joining in, and I appreciate you. Make sure you also, of course, like and subscribe, okay? That's going to let me know that I'm doing the right thing by joining on here, and I hope to see y'all again as we continue this crazy 2024 and we can talk some more about, everything under the sun. I appreciate it and love you guys. Chat soon. Bye.